Oh, okay, here we go. Made the gala. Hello, Madeleine. I'm gonna give a few minutes until we go in. Hey, hello. Hello. Hey, it's amazing. Thank you, Madeleine. Hey, salute, Madeleine. I actually have a birthday drink today with you guys. Thank you for everybody joining in to my particular birthday. As you know, a great institution like the Metropolitan Opera just organized a Met Gala that I'm totally claiming that it was a program on April 25th for in honor of a really, really great Mexican kid. So hey, my boss, now I have to just gonna tailor my comments, but I expect maybe that we're gonna be a smaller crowd today with the Met Gala going, but I am very excited to see you guys today, and I promise a few friends. Hello, Diana. Thank you, Emmanuel. I promise a few of my friends that if if it's like petit comité, we're going to possibly do a little bit of commentary of the Met Gala, just Mexican mafia, Mexican cartel style. So let's see how it goes. I have a fear that everybody's gonna be a little bit with the Met today. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about a few things today. We are totally like petit comité today, so I'm so gonna go for it. Hello, guys. Hellos to the ones that are joining in at the moment, and thank you for your happy birthday. I'm gonna give a few minutes. I'm gonna have another sip of my birthday drink that I'm sure is 5 p.m. somewhere in the Met Gala. I was starting to watching it a little bit, and I have to say that right before I tune in, I saw that it was, like they were mostly, it was Jonas Kaufman at 12:56 time of Dallas, and I was like, oh great, I have to compete with Jonas Kaufman, and at the same time I wanted to have like a live interaction. I was like, answer me for the things that I own, like you own me for Munich, Anyway, but we couldn't have that conversation. So, anyway, I thank you guys for the ones that are joining in again on my particular private party today through the Dallas Opera TV channel. Again, we knew that we were going to be a little bit on the lower side with the Met Gala happening. So, anyway, give me 1 second. I'm going to get a few things in my computer working, all my notes that I prepare for you. And don't you love that everybody's in their house in the Met Gala, like having fun and really bad audio, but we're still singing our hats out. So I'm really, really proud for everybody that is there. And this is actually, I'm going to be talking about a few things. I'm going to get very, very, very philosophical at the moment, and it's that that we have to give us a space a little bit on how everybody's competing today, and what everybody's doing in their own house, in their own way, to do it. I'm gonna tell you one thing that happened this week to me that really moved me a lot, and that was the fact that one of my friends that I used to, I have to agree that I haven't really been in touch with that particular friend a lot in the past few years, especially since I left from Mexico. I really didn't have a lot of contact with that friend. And this friend posted, her name is Anna, and she posted that she lost her husband 2 days ago, and in the goodbye, after they had two small little kids, um, she said one thing that really really touched me, because it's something that we don't do in our industry. But she said, this person made me better. My husband made me better, because one day I arrived and I said, this individual, I'm trying to censor the Mexican next of this, said to me, I like she was kind of like really bragging a lot about what she was doing, and she came to complain a little, kind of like vent to her husband that just passed, and said, this person believing a lot about herself, and it rubs me the wrong way, that confidence, almost cockiness about it. And the husband actually said to her that was what she was talking about in the post, and said, like, that's great that she has believed in herself, because if she doesn't believe in herself, who's gonna believe in her, And that just punched me in the gut. It really 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 like got me going. It made me teary a lot, because I have a lot of friends right now in the airwaves. In some of them are singing today at the Metropolitan Opera. We have one of our lineup people, Isabel Leonard, singing with the Met Gala, and I heard a lot of people, like, people that were a little sad that they didn't get invited, or as it's not easy to talk to a lot of these people when not everybody's getting paid at the moment. Like, the decisions of who gets paid and who's not, especially in America, are very very controversial and are very very difficult. But what I wanted to do in this one, because it's something that we do as an industry, is criticize a lot what everybody else is doing, instead of like add on and summarize what we're doing. I would ask that we give a space to everybody that's trying to find a way to find their own voice in this COVID-19, a space to experiment. We're all trying to find a way to monetize our social media channels. We're trying to find a way to get more views. We're trying to find ways to certainly survive. So the rules of engagements have changed. The self-promotion has changed, and this is the way that today you have to go for it. So if you are in the lineup that was suggested by the Met, I hope that you're having a great time. I hope that you're making music. I hope that your audience is responsive, and you get what you need. And at the same time, if you weren't, like, I hope that you also are watching or supporting, and I hope that you get in a way that this is everybody trying to survive. So give it yourself a space to feel your feelings, and right now, and I hope that you can take it with you. Like, that you find yourself a lot of hope and space to do this. Give yourself permission to try and experiment. If you're starting a series of live streams, if you're starting a series of Facebook Watch or Facebook parties, if you are creating original content, go for it. This is the moment. This is the time. Like, social media for me now, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing in Dallas Opera. We're about to launch more formally, the TDO network. Sorry, I'm receiving a lot of messages today, and thank you for all the love for my birthday. And it's very very difficult when I see like the trolls. This week, I also particularly not only like lost a few people to COVID. Javier Camarena and another Mexican artist, we launched a video to the Mexican public saying, stay at home. And I got tremendously trolled by a lot of Mexican people saying, it looks that you guys have everything, right? And so please send help, or don't say anything about staying at home. And it was very hard to get trolled as much as I got. Like, at the end of the day, I believe on the message that we did, right? I do believe in what we're doing. Thank you again for all this. Happy birthday. But it was but it's difficult to feel that we have so much detractors when everybody's trying to find their own way to make music. So if you, again, in my first message of the day, if you're trying to go for something, if you're creating something, if you're hustling to survive, if you're trying to find a way to pay your employees, to monetize anything, kudos to you, and salute to you and happy birthday from this guy, because I see you and I applaud you. The TDO network, I have a lot of questions about TDO network, and I'm very passionate about it. I'm very, very happy. You guys saw some of our posts yesterday, that we're interacting more than 600,000 people in the past month, that we've been trying to launch original content. And yes, we have a very specific strategy of how we do things. We are very specific on how we brand ourselves and the type of content that we're going for, but we are trying to take care of our artists. We're trying to take care of our people, and to say that everything that we're doing, it's not for free, and we respect the professional aspect of our artists that are the content creators that we are working with. And so when you see in the post of Instagram of our content creators, like this post is paid by the Dallas Opera, yes, there's not a lot of money, but there's a little bit there. We are recognizing that there's a professional transaction of services, and for me that is very, very important that is happening. Again, nothing against the people that are not doing it, that they're donating, that they have the capability to donate their service. I respect this part of the engagement. And so it is very, very, very it's very satisfactory for us, and so thank you. I want to say, for everybody that has been supporting us and tuning in, I want to say thank you, for all these tuning in. If you want to contribute still to the experiment, please sharing all our content. I want to have a lot of data, Madeline, I thank you for all your help. You're an incredible champion of all your content, and your sharing and your commenting. So we really, really appreciate all the love and the help that you're sending. That everything that you're doing so far, it's incredible help. So anyway, I am very, very thankful for all of you, for all the people that are commenting and sharing and joining. Thank you. One of the other things that I feel that you should feel space today, on this one, it's again on that mentality, that I want you to have, on. Give me 1 second. I'm having a lot of messages here in questions in my computer about like people that are sending private questions. And I am terrible at multitasking. So anyway, I really, really, really want to hope that you are, having a great day, and having a great moment in this COVID moment. I want to find a way to inspire you today to own it, to really, really go for it. And it's a difficult time. It has not been an easy week. It has not been an easy month. And in all the questions that I'm getting in between the happy birthdays and all those things that are happening, I just get one theme. It's like how I find a groove in myself to find that fire. And I would say that fire is inside of you when you have the need to perform. The fire for performing, the fire for communication is what actually is going to make us today the survivals and the leaders and the rebels of this movement of keeping classic music alive. I had a dream the other day that it was very, very, very avant-garde, and there was the draft of the NFL a few days ago. and and also I'm a huge follower of the English Premier League, and I said, you know what, somehow these guys are still going to be able to monetize their content, and their business aspect is going to be taking care of themselves because they have an audience that can't give some certain part of that revenue transaction through digital platforms. But the classical music industry is not prepared, and it's not happening today. So what I feel that I need to say today is, I'm going to tell you what I dreamed today in my birthday, in a very, very ideological and philosophical way. What if, like in professional opera, we were all like joining in, and this is, again, this is my opinion. This is a very, very avant-garde thought, but we don't do a joint effort as the industry of opera to preserve opera by itself, right? We only do, like, we always play for our own company. If you're the Metropolitan Opera, you do the Metropolitan Opera. You're a Dallas Opera, you do a Dallas Opera. You fundraise for everything, but there's not a part of every single like funding that we do that is for the preservation of the art form. And there's a lot of misunderstandings of what we do today on this is my fee, this is my money, this is everything. But let's be really, really, really honest in our industry. In Europe, is heavily state funded, so it still is a service for your taxes, right? That we preserve on your taxes. And in America, it's almost a museum art where you like are trying as a donor to preserve this for future generations to have this high culture access to something. But this is not a business. So the moment that a business is stopped and is not generating revenue, all of these artists that are joining us today, our 30 people that are happening, are not joining in. Like they're not taken care of, and we are at the expense of one massive donor or one massive politician to take our way of living. So how do we do this? How do we join in a way that we take care of the industry and the preservation of the opera industry? And I had a crazy thought. What if every single company that, let's say, like the 10 more wealthiest companies of the United States create a certain fund of perpetuation of the industry, right? And we, I don't know if it's Opera America or we create our own commissioner type of thing as the NFL, start creating the development of how everybody that is in those 10 companies have a certain flat line. There's in the NFL or in the NBA, there's the Golden State Warriors, there have been the Chicago Bulls, there have been the Cowboys, that they have a lot of money, but there's also, the small market organizations like Oklahoma, but everybody starts at a certain flat line, right? There's a certain standard of marketing or packaging or visiting companies that start pushing each other market to the revenue. If you see that there's a Monday Night Football when Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger, they go, it's the same thing that, we have a Monday night when we have a broadcast because Jonas Kalman is singing on Monday or Anna Trebko is singing something there. But we have an audience that we can also have reference with multimedia and mainstream media. So we can pay ads and we can pay airwave space in traditional media. So we are present again in traditional media. How we can partner this, like for the 27 that are here, like I hope that you go into your own companies and find a way of collaborating on how we can build this industry as a commissioner, where we are always competing with one donor or for one market, but how we can actually take care of as a whole. And for me, that's the main thing that I care. It does matter for me. So the lessons are there. I'm not innovating completely about it. The English Premier League did it in order to preserve the standard of English football in Europe. The NBA did it in the 80s, and the players and they found a way to monetize and create a source of revenue that it was shared equally in every single member of the league. Here it's very obvious for us that some of the people that are, that certain communities are very wealthy and others not, but all of them have a passion for the sport, for opera, for the industry, right? So I would say that if we have that idea, if we have this decision making goal all together to really play together, when the resources that we already have as people in music, when we know how to hear each other and play 100 people together, or sing 100 voices together, or create incredible harmonies of everything, I hope that you guys can help me to find the Rebel Alliance, as I talk with some of my friends in the industry, that this doesn't happen again. That we're not dependent of the laird, of the politician, of the one donor to preserve what we are funding our people, where we are doing our industry, where we are paying our bills. So I hope that you help me on this matter. I guess that when I go into 6-speed and monologue, I more like you guys started sharing. So thank you for a lot of the people that are starting tuning out of Ambrogio Maestri and joining in. So thank you for this and joining back. I don't think that is the wrong idea. I don't think that this is crazy. I think that so many ways of creating fundraising can create for a cash reserve that we can actually share between, let's say, the experiment of 10 or 12 opera companies, where we can go in and buy into the media today and say, you know what, we have access of some of the top wealthy donors and households in the nation. Right? So even the ads targeted can be like very, very specifically marketed to high luxury something, and whatever you want to do, you don't advertise Hermes in something during Cartoon Network, right? So we can do this at the moment. We can actually create a lot of sense of community, a lot of spewing as what we want to say, right? As an industry. In that media. And so when you see a major performer, a major Monday night game, a major Sunday, and we can say every Saturday there's a full calendar of opera in that ABC, NBC, something like this, where we stream. So I would say that this is very, very, very possible. It just takes a little bit of ego of every single company and say, yes, I fundraise better than so. Yes, you can be the Yankees in this league. Yes, you can always be the Cowboys on this. You can always have this. But maybe this is my burden. I'm getting very, very philosophical. But I wanted to find a way to find the preservation of the art form in the United States. So that was one of the thoughts that I have. I'm having a 4. The royalties, yes, Madeleine. Sometimes you can be the Browns, yes, Addie from Cleveland. I think that the royalties and the situations that we have with our orchestras and chorus and soloists, we have to be real. We have to send them the real numbers, right? We have to tell them that we don't make music, that we don't make any income when we actually fund, when we do DVDs, when we go into recordings, when we stream things. Maybe the Metropolitan Opera and HD, yes, because they have 65, 70 countries that they are, and they can monetize a little bit by ticket revenue. But other than that, we're not in the same boat. It's still really, really difficult that I don't see a lot of companies in the United States, besides the humongous mammoth that the Met is, spewing their content, unless that are outside of the union. It's not a critical thing. It's I have seen the Opera America webinars and everything, and people even in the webinars are still talking about tape. We're in social media digital era today. How are we letting this concept still be relevant today? We have to be in a situation where we ourselves, the people that are in front of the cameras, the people that are developing the concepts, we take it on the bull by the horns. and we say enough. Like we want to be packaged the right way. We want to be seen the right way, so we can actually be paid the right way. So anyway, if you have any comments and concerns about this, I welcome them. Madeleine, like the royalties is a really, really, really big thing. Yes. So I would say, for me, I think that there is a way for this. We have to tell them the truth. We have to say, this is how are we fundraising, and this is the real aspect of the market value appreciation for the art form. If the biggest opera companies in the planet are getting 20 to 40% tops, and those are the biggest companies in the planet, ticket revenue, that's our real market. That's the fans, that's the public that is giving us revenue. Everything else is just a situation where we are getting money from donors, again, from the museum aspect, or from state funding as a service from your taxes. But our market penetration, our market revenue is the ticket revenue. So those are our real value. How can we increase it? I'm not saying that we want to go into like just pay fees that are like $500 per gig. No. It's like we actually invent, we actually market ourselves, we actually become better at this, and we use everything that we have because we're resilient. We have survived centuries as an art form, so we have to keep relevant, but we have to start thinking that we are competitive enough in the digital era, in the smartphone era, for our constituents. So that was one of my biggest thoughts. Besides, don't be mean to the rest of the people that are trying to figure it out today. I'm going to come back to some questions, because I know that I have some questions, and some of you are sending private messages to me, and I apologize. At the beginning of the session, I was a little scattered because I was getting a lot of those in my computer, but I closed my computer today. Thank you, Christopher Leach, on that. So update materials to high quality on platforms and websites. Yes. I think we talked a little bit about last time about this. We really, really, really need to get high quality. And you can see it today, everybody is struggling to find a good mic to record themselves. Myself, my connection has been in and out because we're everything doing it with Wi-Fi personal. So, and definitely Instagram and classical music traffics and channel are really, really, really challenging today because we have a humongous event in our industry. So we have to be able to oomph that. So I would recommend, if you have a tiny bit of savings, invest in a good mic. It's gonna help a lot. I'm actually thinking of buying a new one, and so like invest in a good mic so you have good quality of audio and you actually can sing, and we can appreciate most of the harmonics of you. I have another question. Somebody said that they have a manager, that they have a Zoom meeting with their management, and that manager said that in Europe mostly we are planning to basically just you and ally to, yes, specifically. I don't have specific suggestions. I will post them in my Instagram and Facebook channels with some of my techie wizards on that. Coming back to the question, I got, again, they say that we are not going to hire anybody. So basically everybody that is new in the workforce, they wouldn't even try it because we are canceling so many contracts that we're going to give preference to the queue. And I want to clarify a couple things. And it affects for the United States and Europe. So in the United States, we have a problem because we don't have right now UCIS, SPIO and visas at the speed of lightning as we used to be, even if we're paying the content, like if we were paying expedite situations. So if you're an American artist and you're situated in America, like you're gonna have a little bit of a chance, because unfortunately, against all my dear friends that are outside Europe, are gonna have a little really hard time getting into the United States. Right now there's problems with green cards, there's problems with embassies being closed, there's problems with O1 visas, with P visas. and with H visas that we use to for the young artists that are international, for our women conductor program, and for our vocal competition judges. There's a lot of these things that are going to be challenging. So I hope that if these things are not getting solved, like definitely the moment that we go live, there's going to be a higher demand for American legal artists in America, and the same thing for Europeans. Again, I'm not saying that there's like a close of the market, but be ready. If you're in one place and this is your geography and you're ready to go, reach out to your local companies like, hey, I'm here. Or ask your manager and say, I receive a lot of these emails saying like, hey, I know that you're doing Not to the Figure in September. If something happens, if you have something that your visa is not working out, go ahead, do market research, be your best advocate, check where you are, check what you're comfortable to travel with, reach to your manager or reach to the casting person, myself, or my colleagues, and be like, I'm right here. It's preservation of your brand, like awareness of the brand. So go for it in that sense. If you're European, the same thing, like try to find a way that you're like, I'm in Germany, I'm a German artist. When you're open, like if there's somebody that you're not being able to get in because the Schengen area is closed, I am right here. So be proactive, think about yourself in this way. So yes, Anna, I know logistics is going to be problematic. Like I'm trying to find a way to repurpose artists in companies with buyouts, with cancellations, with gigs gone away, and it's very, very, very difficult. And especially because all the timings are gone and revivals and rehearsals is super, super complicated, so I love what Anna's saying. We're all on the startup line waiting for the shot to go on the race. It's hustle, yes. Like be aware of your industry and how is it playing. With people in that sometimes they tell me, it's like, well, but I'm so sad, I'm gaining weight, I'm watching Netflix, I rewatched Tiger King. Like that was 4 weeks ago. Like this is going to be a little bit of the survival of the fittest. So if you are an artist that is joining into the workforce, if you're starting a young artist program, if you're trying to figure out your way today, more than ever, you have to be the massive influencer because people need to know about your brand. I cannot tell you enough these things, So be aware of that. For the people that are saying that we're not going to hire new people, that's an absolutely fallacy. That's not true. I'm actually saying this in a way that, yes, there's a queue, of all the people that are already like in the workforce. Yes, we know that those exist, right? But also this is your chance, because maybe those people that they were already hired, they're just waiting to restart the 5 years in advance that they have booked. They're not going to get in shape. They're not going to be ready to go. They're going to lose their mojo. They're going to lose their momentum, right? But you are going to be able to be, if you're working out, if you're finding your ways, if you're training your voice every day, if you're spewing content and you're tagging us and you're letting us know that you hustle, that you matter, that you're ready to go the moment that we open the theater, you're going to get noticed. It's very, very free market at the same thing and very self-started. Jose, this is very true. How does the budget shortfall that is expected going to affect who gets hired at what rate? This is gold. This is golden, and I do it every day. There is, and I ask, and this is hard because I see a lot of my colleagues are agents that are today. There's no way that we can pay in both houses that I work the same amount of fees that we had. It's just a reality. It's just very tough at the moment. The portfolio of every endowment that we are talking in the United States is going down just by the way the investments are going. Investment portfolios are going down. So if the value of the endowment is giving you less money per season, the contributions are less, pledges are escaping. So we have to be able to really go into this sweet spot between, if you're in a level 1 opera house, between 3,000 to 7,000, I think that is going to be the sweet spot for you to be at. Everything above that, there's going to be payment plans, there's going to be something around. And that's just my personal opinion. And it's going to be very controversial. But from my seat, where I see both type of the budgets in both markets, there's no way, the German government is spewing a massive amount of help for their artists. it has to come into the future, pot in some way. In the United States, the same way. There's something that we're losing a lot from our donors. The donors are hurting. Our ticket goers are hurting. So we're gonna suffer somewhere. We're gonna suffer in the fees, and not only in the salaries of the CEOs and the music directors. It's on the fees of our choristers, orchestra members, and there's a big shake. So everybody has to be prepared by the best content that they have, the best ability that we have, because we're gonna be for the best at the best price that we can afford. So there is a really, 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 really massive shake in strategy that is about to happen. So I be prepared. I don't get me fatalist. Don't tell me that I am, like we're gonna go back. No, like there's something that is about to happen that we have to be prepared. So anyway, let me get one in between. Thank you for everybody that is joining in. It's incredible that we went from the private party to this massiveness, and when we get rolling, I apologize for my little scattiness at the beginning. I was surprised that we were, I really expected that we were going to be very few today with the Met Live, but I'm blown away for your attendance. So thank you for the bottom of my heart. Anyway, I see a question? I have a few ones here, but anybody have a question online? There it is. Do you think this situation provides more opportunity for local artists to be hired for main stage? Amen. Yes. It's definitely a bigger opportunity because we have to keep the product alive at the leanest cost and sustaining a higher quality. So if you are the local star and you can bring ticket buyers and you still have a certain acceptability on the market, that you already are connected, for the person that asked, yes, like you're already connected with the opera house, there is a priority that we're gonna look into you. Like there is a situation if we cannot get the person that is supposed to sing the role. So I agree. So be ready. What do you think about a fest system in the USA, especially considering this idea of a league of opera houses with share funding? I think that is very possible. I think that all of us learned the lesson today that like the current way that opera works, when we just pay you a fee and we expect the singer to fund the coachings, the training, the health benefits, the rent at the place of they have currently living, and then at the place of work. It is super risky, mostly more about than anybody else to the singers. So that's why I started being united. I'm very sensitive to the experience that I had as a young artist where I had the luck that I was in houses like LA Opera or San Francisco Opera, but I also was already hired in other places. So if the casting director at Los Angeles Opera or San Francisco, I still had some work, right? I still was able to see perspective, say, well, like maybe this guy doesn't like me as much, maybe this guy I cannot connect that much, but I have working somewhere else. So, but that was maybe not the best way, like I saw the competition within the young artists, and I see the competitions in the chorus structures against like the seniority members, and like it's not about the quality and it's not about the common good. And I know that everybody is betting, the house, the education that we give, the benefits that we have for everything. That's why I think a structure where we have a certain amount of revenue that guarantees us flat line always where we're going to be. If you sing in a level 1 opera house, you're already at the minimum veteran of the NFL and the NBA, right? In our current market share and perspectives. But this is a real good thing, this thing works, but it would take a lot of visionaries that we could do. I do like the system of fest. I do. I think that there's a lot of way, and I have ideas about it. I have actually talked to a lot of my mentors about it. From Alex, how drastically do you think it will affect the amount of contemporary opera versus traditional opera? definitely we're gonna see a little more of traditional opera in the next few years, and it's just because there is market for them. There is a lot of data that Nozze di Figaro, that Bohème, that Butterfly, that Toscas, that Traviata gets you the house in America between 50% to 90%, depending the market that you are. And not always a contemporary opera it gives you that, so you have to almost like gamble and have to be very, very, very good and very ambitious on how you're going to package, so I do feel that we're going to see a little bit more of traditional opera. From an administrative standpoint, how do you handle canceling contracts because it's no longer in the budget? I think that at the moment, this is the hard part, because in every single contract that I manage in both sides of the world, there's an aspect of force majeure, and there's many legal ways to claim force majeure. If you cannot fundraise, then the budget in the future does that. So I am talking to everybody in my company and say, I understand that it's not in the budget, but everybody that I'm talking to is people with bills that have put their life on hold in order to be ready to work with us. So I think that in some ways, some people are trying to figure out a way to create a legal engagement for the future that also has future force majeures that we can actually, claim when the trigger time's coming in. I don't know if it's going to be helpful, but at least it tells you security-wise where is we're going to go. That you have some sort of employment, even though it can be furlough or cancel or postpone if this crisis keeps going. So that's what I'm trying to do. At the end of the day, is trying to be a persona, trying to be a human being and be a considerate person in leadership that says this is how we do it. And do you also think this is an opportunity for different voices, different stories, and different storytelling? I do believe that there's going to be a different way to tell a story. I see that there's people today that are trying to find ways to perform an opera via Zoom and see if the ensemble holds, see if the media can get. I think we're going to get better. Right now everybody's trying to find a way better. What I saw today for the few minutes that I tune in the Med, where they have 4 different channels that they were cutting in and out from each other. That was very, very good, and that was, it's expensive. It's not easy, but a switch can be done in several things. I say it while I have my very difficult Wi-Fi, right? But I do think that we're gonna get better at this. So it's just in a constant evolution at the moment. We just had. Do I see I have more questions and I had to thank you for all again, Mario, for all the congratulations on all this. Thank you for all the guys again from the private messages that are saying today again I'm very, very touched about. From the boss of bosses, how much is the online current activities going to continue when we go back in theaters? How much online content is going to influence on stage content artistically in the long run? I do believe eventually we're going to have to listen about the market. It's going to be a lot about the demand. I think if we create right now a familiarity strategy with our audiences where we are at the top of their algorithms when they tune in to their news feed, when they tune in into their Instagram, they're going to miss us. They're going to miss a certain backstage access. So I think that it has to be a third source of production, not only the education and outreach content, not only our main stage, not only the way that we produce for our donors, but also for the online community, for the perpetuation of the brand and the spread and the how do you say in English, the furthering of the art form, Again, I am very, very tired to hear that it's just one city pulling for itself, when at the end of the day, if you don't have greater artists from all over the world that are trained from all over the world, that sing with other operas all over the world, so we can say oh my God, the Metropolitan Opera artist is here in Dallas, right? It helps for all of us to be good at this, for perpetuating and furthering the opera house. So that is one the same way that we are talking about it does matter your followers at some point. Like, we're gonna have to be open at this, guys, even if it's so like high nose for opera houses. It's like, no, I don't look at this. Well, you should, because maybe, you know, like, you don't have to, you know, you have to find that magical moment where your product, your packaging, and the response of the market, it's attuned to the necessities of the art that you want to do. Because if not, you're constantly imposing the will of one person, you know, into creating one artistic vision, and ask for the government or donors, without seeing your vision, to trust you blindly that you're gonna get it. It rarely happens in the pros, you know. So we have to have a certain amount of response and data that gives us a little bit of tranquility when we invest our money. So followers and market share, it is important, and in a way. I think the online content is going to greatly influence new audience members. Yes, you know, one of the most fantabulous things that happened with TDO Network is that I can see, and my bosses can see, where do we bounce our content. And the hocus pocus wizardry of this is that our main audience is between 18 and 44. Men and women spread the same. Almost like 59, like depending who it is, the product, you know. There are people that tune more for Suzanne Vinnick and Diana, and there are more women. There are more men that tune in with Emmanuel Villon and myself. It's very different, and very everybody with how did they respond. So in a way, I would like to say that yes, we have to pay attention of our content. And also, this demographic, 18 to 44, is what we've been dreaming every opera house in the planet to reach. So if we're reaching them and we're hooking them, because again, as you saw in our post in TDO Network, we're at 60,000 new accounts in just the last month. Interaction, you know, just that they are aware that we exist, that we reach out. And we talk a lot about in all this conference, in Opera Europa, in Opera America, about just starting the conversation. Well, what is better when you get hit with the product in a way that is packaged very attractively and very easy digestible? And we're not dumbing down, we're actually going raw, real, and relevant. That's the editorial line of the TDO Network. So it works, guys. It really does work. You just have to go for it. This also, again, you know, this is not only done by this costs money. I have to disclose that the Dallas Opera is a very, 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 very smart organization, and they are investing resources into furthering the art form, furthering our market, and creating a new source of audience and a content that they are going to our donors and direct to, so still they see that they need to fundraise for us, right? So this is not for free. So for everybody that is going like into their own thing, you have to invest a little bit to reap the benefits, like in any other entrepreneurial thing. It's very hard to just go by yourself, because then, you know, it's very, 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 very slow. We do invest in algorithm, and we are about to launch our landing page, so you can see our content in a Netflix basis access, where you just want to see this episode. You don't want to tune in to the network. We want to have the network with our programming that is very, very, very defined. You know, one guys go at 9, one guys go at 1 p.m. And you have a familiarity with our donor, when are we going to drop. But also we have the Netflix aspect a la carte that is so millennially, so into the new age, to see the content whenever you can, whenever you want. So we, you know, that this is something that it works, and we have the data. Also, we have an incredible team of millennials that are massively good at this, you know. Madeline, I'm scared to be in the new world after 5 months. Yes. I don't want to sweet up the pill. You know, I have heard conversations in so many other forums. Again, we don't know. If there's a magical cure that put us back into performing, we still, and the NFL says it, the NBA says it, the opera houses would say it. We need 30 to 60 days to go. So whenever we're told that we're ready to go, we need 30 to 60 days to get it going. So it's not easy, you know. So I think that's why developing great strategies of audience development, of fundraising development, and stewardship of our current donors to our digital basis is going to be the future of that. And original content, guys, like, let's be honest, how much does it cost to create what a lot of you have in the other screen watching the Metropolitan Opera, right? It is very, very, very expensive. It's a multi-camera, broadcast thing that even the New York Times yesterday in the article publicizing the gala was on they needed a different right. They needed about $100,000 from Rolex to do it, so it's not cheap. Original content, it is a lot of almost like small little by little content creation that we do guerrilla style, but when you have something so new and so fresh, people respond. So try original content that is really, really, really like reflective of what is your true values as an organization. So I would say go for it. More questions. I have like 9 minutes and then I'm gonna go for more tacos for my birthday. An investment that takes the community. Yes, amen. Hello. The opera has power in this time. Yes, the opera has power in this time. Like, we are powerful. We have survived it. We are the lengths of so many survival skills that we have. And I'm gonna say one more thing. I think that when you do things that what the TDO Network is doing, and yes, I'm tuning a lot my humongous corneta today, it is outreach at the purest. And listen to me on this one, because a lot of the conversation that happened in professional opera houses around the world is, how are we a good neighbor? How are we a good member of the community? How are we furthering? Well, when you join into my Instagram live, where I see all the Mexicans that are joining and some of the people from Eastern Europe and some of the people when I sang in Latin America and different communities in the United States, it costs for all of you the same amount of money to join in and tune in and get original content, correct? So what is the best way to access? Leveling the field for access. I'm not saying like when you get into the theater, the nosebleeds versus the first row and versus the experience of, I agree, like we should have certain different tiers, right? But for me, putting original content and putting something that you really believe in a digital platform, it is something that is for everybody. And it doesn't matter where you're coming from and which color or ethnicity and language that you speak. Is the purest form anti-discrimination that happens, And so for me, that's something that we do. Yes, we need food for the soul too. We need inspiration. We need real content, and that's how you do it. That requires that create together. Exactly, Quo. And Quo is one of our incredible partners, one of the great influencers and content creators that we have in the lineup of TDO Network, and it was created, the lineup in a very specific way that we wanted. We are 50-50 men, 50 women. 50 minority representation, 50 the traditional Caucasian ethnicity on this, because opera is for every single one, and music shouldn't be the same way that I believe that men shouldn't be the only ones that are authorized to be on the podium, and the same way that I don't want that my son is only raised by women. It's like I have to have also my responsibility on those things. I have to be a father. I have to be like a cleaning person. I have to be able to cook the same way with other ones. We have to be able to give the voice to every color, to every ethnicity, to every demographic, and to every gender to make music, because music is not exclusive of gender, of how much you make in your wallet and where you were born. That is one of the major things that I am passionate about it. So digital aspects eradicates and erases so many of those frontiers, guys. So why don't give a little bit of resources? We have them already there. We are consuming everything that it comes from us on those ways. From Tamara, along those lines and new content, is there any possibility, comments coming in, collaboration with different art forms to try to reach new and diverse audiences by collaborating with other art forms during these times? Yes. I think that you can, like it's packaging. It's marketing at its purest. I think that you can go in and you can partner with other organizations as much as you can have an audience, that you have original content, that you can actually create something that you're gonna give to your audience that they can keep after. It's not just for the purest amount of collaboration. In a few creative meetings that I have, one of my great content creators that I have in the lineup, that was like, we need to be a better neighbor. We need to be saying what we are, and be aware of what all our people are saying in our platform, in our zip code. And I was like, at the beginning I was like, well, but why should I share all these things, the hardworking followers that we have with other people? But then I say, you know what? Like, not everybody has the same resources. Not everybody is here for the same strategy. And if we can help to further the fine arts, and also have communication with their audiences about what we are doing, why not? A little bit of that. Why don't we do it? And we actually are right now developing a series about our neighborhood, about something that we're gonna do. And so please keep tuned. Guide of exactly, why should people care about us if we never consider them? We're gonna go for them. We're gonna start caring. I have 3 more minutes before this live ends, so I want to be thankful for all of you that blow away my life today, that we were a little slow to start the party, but thank you again for everything. Thank you for all of you that tune in. I'm so thankful for everything that you bring to the table, for all your questions, for all the interactions that you send me during the week, the cheering for keeping the battle alive. And as I say, try to live your life really in a way that is real, raw, and relevant. There's no other way. And go dominate. Okay, so I see you next Saturday. Please tune in this week, still for the week. Tomorrow we have Grace Browning in the incredible harpist from Dallas Opera and the Santa Fe Opera and the Rochester Philharmonic. She's doing a recital tomorrow. Please tune in. We have incredible guests coming up. I don't know if Emmanuel is still there, but Emmanuel has a bombastic legend on Wednesday, so tune in. So when we announce who's going to be on Ask Maestro on Wednesday. Isabel Leonard is on Friday with Nick Brownlee, getting real. Besides, Isabel is teaching online, following with us in our TDO network. So we're going to have a great surprise this week for all of you. I can't wait to see you again on Saturday again. And as I always say, goodbye. Go dominate. Thank you, guys.